Well, I can see here you had a hell of a day. So I'm on a short fuse, I understand. But possibly because the subject is different, it might be give a variation of startups and industry and business. First of all, I must thank Dr. Anurag Bhattacharya for getting me here, because this is a festival of literature which is non-fiction. Now, to start with, because the time is short, we are talking of Vedas, a new perception. Before I come to the coffee table book, I'd like to mention a few misconceptions. So there'll be three sections. One is very quickly on Vedas and Dharma, the misconception, then the education system, then I'll come to Vedas, the new perception about the book, and then what all happened. To begin with, first of all, we must understand Vedas is the oldest literature which has been accepted the world over. However, we do have certain pseudo-intellectuals who still think it's fiction. Well, I just feel very sad for them, and those irrelevant, and let them be in the glory of Messianic ethos. The world has accepted that it is the oldest not literature. It has everything which goes to run mankind itself. It's an ocean of knowledge, but you have to deep dive with patience to understand. So we'll start with Vedas. First of all, the misconception is that Vedas are book of knowledge. They are not books of knowledge. They are books of, not books of religion. They are books of knowledge. The Ved itself means Vijnana, knowledge, with Sapam, which is there, with Labhi, which has to do with business, Arkyan, to meditate and look into it. This is what Vedas mean, and it is for all mankind, irrespective of religion, creed or caste. It's very clear. So this concept that Vedas are a book of religion is not there. Number two, so also is the word Dharma, which has been again talked of, Dharma and going. Dharma is no religion. It's a way of life. It's regard for the others. It means, Dharma basically means that purity of mind, purity of soul, purity of character, you're being honest and things like that which we all understand. And I think all religions do accept this. So that is what Dharma is about. So now coming back to the Vedic ethos, which I mentioned to you, that it is to do with learning, with knowledge, with character. It covers all fields, which is including business. Businessworld today we'll see, but it has to be investigated and dealt with patience. Now coming to the next part, which I am covering section, is the education. Educational years were done by rishis who were not only, they were scientists and artists. Unlike our BA Arts and BSc, they were artists and they were also scientists. And the system of education was different. Let's say they would call people, students would come to them, they wanted to find out who's the one who's the acumen to understand. So they would give stories, alankarik, which they call philologies, then select who is the real one who's got the acumen to understand. And then they'll depart the real knowledge. Unlike here, today anyone can go and put in a fees and he will can do science, he can do anything, and what is the net result? He might even produce explosives and things like that. It's very bad for the society. So that is the other aspect which is very important. So they were selective, very selective, whom this education or knowledge was imparted. Because that is what Ved stands for. So this was one system which broke down as things went. These are two or three fundamental things. The other aspect which is very important is the antiquity of Vedas. The Western minds have always said you're 5,000 years old and so on and so forth, because they all wanted to show supremacy of the white man and Christianity. Now I'll cite you two examples which I would like to quote also. You must have heard the famous Nobel laureate of physics by name and Richard Nahn, who created the science of hypothetical science. Now, Neelkant Oak is a very brilliant scientist at this thing. He worked on this theory, which is undisputable. And he worked out on Ram itself and gave the date of 29th November 12,240 BC, the least. No, and this is undisputed. It's been done totally scientific on the theory given by the Nobel laureate. This is one. Second point which I'll mention to you is about the antiquities, that in our calendar, which is undisputed, or Sanatani calendar or Aryan calendar, every day a shlok was spoken, even today it's done by author family, that this is day of this, which is passing by. And it started with the Manu. We have full knowledge from the dates from 7th Manu. So 7th Manu, which is known, who was the first lawgiver. Manusmriti is written by him. Now there it says, Dvite Paraya Devasta Manvantare Kal Yuge 5119 Gatavat. Means it is the 28th Chaturyugi of Vaswat Manu and 5114 years of the Kali Yuga is passing. And Manu, calculation like that, 120 million years ago. That's what the 7th Manu. And in his Manusmriti, we read Vedas have been mentioned. So imagine 6 Manus before that, that is your antiquity. The rest of 5,000 years is rubbish, which the white men wanted to brainwash us, which they did quite successfully. Unfortunately, some of our Indian scholars still follow that. Now I'll come to the book, Vedas, a New Perception, but I must give you a background. This is the coffee table book. It's an introduction to the main book, Vedas, a New Perception, written by my father, Dr. Bhardwaj, who was the first Indian English specialist from Vienna. He was a nuclear physicist and knew 17 languages, French, Latin, German, etc. And he spent out of his 100 years of life, 70 years researching on Vedas. Now, being in this sort of spectrum, so some of his findings of his were, one main finding was that Vedas are not written in Sanskrit. The language of Vedas is not Sanskrit. It is Bhasha. Bhasha was vast and subject-oriented, flexible, vast and flexible. Each word has got so many meanings. So the hymn which is being carried out, you have to select correct meaning related to the subject matter. Sanskrit was a colloquial derivative and became restrictive. So what happens is, when you translate once in Sanskrit, it is sometimes illogical, unscientific, and at times obscene. I'll give you a few examples, just a few examples of certain words which I like to explain. Take the word Atma. Atma in Sanskrit, everyone means soul. But when I talk to very learned scholars, how does Atma come into engineering? They have no answer. Now Atma, the base etymology, At means Satyat Gamne, constant motion. A machine gives you constant motion, it is Atma there, not the soul. Difference between Sanskrit and Bhasha, subject matter. Take Arti. Everyone knows that Arti, they do puja, it's fair enough. So if the subject matter is in temple or wherever, it's fine. But in science, different. Our root is motion. Ati is binding. Any machine which quickly binds, Arti is there. That's the meaning there. I'm giving you just Hriday. Everyone knows the heart. Fair enough. In medicine, yes. But otherwise, the word is Hri and the Harna, then it's a pump. When you come to engineering, it's a pump. So also Havan. Well, very good, which you do around, cleaning up. But the basic root is who to give, to combine and to give out. Take here, you're giving out oxygen, carbon dioxide, oxygen, they give you back oxygen, synthesis. That's your Havan. Take the word Rakshas. Everyone knows Rakshas mean a devil and so on and so forth. Sorry? Well, don't insult the Rakshas, please. Now, here the point is, Ra means to give, Aksh means eyesight. This is Rakshas. Once we are talking in this, if you are talking a person who creates problem, that Rakshas is this. And Rakshas is this. Ra gives, Aksh is eyesight. We don't understand. Take Krishna. Poor Krishna, Lord Krishna will be painted throughout blue, black. Because an architect, I tell you, when you paint a wall, and I say I want it black, I'll say, do Krishna. Okay. But here the subject is the Lord himself. He was so, because the word, root is akarshan. He was so handsome and attractive, and we are painting blue black. In engineering, it will be a magnet which attracts, which pulls. You see? Now, similarly, if you take Marida, they say rushing you to drink alcohol. Now, if you are talking in terms of science or medicine, Madara is alcohol, we put that. But Madira has got 5 different meanings. Ra is to give, Madi gives you stuti, analysis, both happiness, kanti, illumination, mental or other energy, and then gati, motion. So these words you have to choose which one it is, what is the subject matter of them. That is the problem of Bhasha and Sanskrit. Now you take Gau, everyone say cow, fair enough, that's also right. But it says Gachati, the word is Gachati yoya yatra vayasa.
what moves and what makes others move. The tractor. You see, it's a cow also. What is the subject matter? Now, these are few things which I have mentioned to you. I'll give you one example further before I move on to something else. It is a Athurved mantra, which is known wherever, which says, before the cosmos was made, a brahmachari was born. Now imagine before the cosmos was made, that remote wala brahmachari. How stupid, who will accept it? The word here is Purvo Jato Brahmand Brahmachari. Purvo Pehle, Purvo Jato Brahmand, the cosmos was brahmachari born. Here, the subject is cosmos. We are talking of Brahmand. The whole problem is brahmachari. In Sanskrit, brahmachari means celibate. Here the word is Brahm and Char. Brahm means grow and grow bigger. And Char is motion. So before the cosmos came into being, in the inert matter there was motion. The motion came in and then the growth started. That's the difference between Bhasha and this thing. Now, these are few examples. I can go on, but time is very short. Now you will ask me a question, then what happened? What happened? How did decadence happen? The decadence happened this way, the rishis went away. Bhasha went into deep slumber because the Pandits and Brahmins could not understand the complexity. It went to Sanskrit, which was colloquial, derivative. That's one. Second disaster was, in our caste system, it became vitiated that if you're born a Brahmin, you'll be a Brahmin. If you're born a Kshatriya, no. The word is Varun, to choose, Varmana. So you could be born in a Brahmin family, but if you're powerfully wanting to fight, if you don't fight, you're a Kshatriya. That was one problem. So everything got vitiated. So the caste system went wrong. That's number one. Number two, when invasions were taking place, the Kshatri forgot that his role was to protect the country. To protect the country, right, and protect the people. They started only pardoning, they won and pardoned. Only Maharana Pratap was one who left no one. And you are aware that 14 is Akbar couldn't even look at him. So we forgot. Manusmriti states, we don't want to fight. But if we are attacked, we must use the means which they attacked on us. We forgot that. The Manusmriti was lost. So we kept on losing. What happened? We forgot all this. Nalanda was burning. For months Nalanda burned. You have seen that. Thousands of Hindus and Brahmins were butchered by these jihadis. It's a fact. Now they're emerging very fast. Then came the British, who wanted to totally brainwash. You were Gadaria, shepherds going around the place. We are the ones who know everything, right? And that brainwashing was done. And I'm sorry to say, even today, the brown side still think they were the masters and they look toward them for anything. That is how decadence took place. Every time this happened. So that is the basic thing why everything went wrong. So this book which is written is an introduction, Vedas New Perception. This is an introduction to the magnum opus written by my father, Dr. Bhardwaj, which is being re-edited in USA. And it covered the entire spectrum, right from cosmos, Vedic cosmos, and so on and so forth. So in brief, this is what this book is all about. Thank you so much. Be patient to hear it out.
Mr. Bharadwaj, I do have a question for you. If I may, please.
Yes, you must.
I tried to connect it to it spiritually, but what I found is that rather than just emotions, it is a mechanism that you follow.
Somras, is it?
Somras, the nectar of life. Yes. I understand.
So, but I'll give you what Somras meant etymologically. I'll send it to you.
That is not what I wanted to ask. I completely understand. I've gone through it 4 times.
No. The Rigveda translation is done in Sanskrit. Please understand this. You will never get to the right one. Look at the Bhasha etymology and you know what Somras is.
Alright.
It's not a ras at all.
I understand that.
So
coming to the question now.
Please go ahead.
Yes, coming to the question.
Yeah.
The way we approach the Lord or the higher power in the universe, ladder, like if I want to apply for a leave, I write down an application and pass it on to my superior, who then passes on to their superior.
Nothing happens like this. Let me tell you ethos. You must understand 3 things. There are 3 eternal things. God, souls and matter. God is not like other gods looking at you, what you're doing. He's not your servant. That's all rubbish. Okay, he's not your servant. If the karma theory comes in, depends. If you do something good, you will get something good. If you don't, you will be punished. Take law today. Dharma rakshati dharma. If you look after the law will look after you. So there is no application. This is not going to be the end of the day that during you'll go on to. So that doesn't happen. So it's God is not going to take sides. It's you. He has given you, human being is the only person who has been given the brain to do what or she likes. And I have always said, I'm sorry to say, nothing to do against people. I always say that I don't think I've got basically any gurus. Because your guru is the soul inside you. And whatever it says, you follow that, you'll never go wrong. Number one. And on lighter side, I say, mandir to man ke andar hai.
Perfectly
That's the way I
said.
look at it.
Right.
But it's a very good question, but I'll send you this article, read about it. I think Anurag has published it already. Somras, the real ethos of Somras. Thank you so much.